Well, I didn't get to do a live yet today. My parents came into town for the weekend, and my kids had a recital this morning. A bunch of Katie's piano studio had a recital this morning, and so it's been a busy day. It's been beautiful outside. We played outside, played a game of basketball, played some pig outside with my dad and a couple of my kids, which definitely gave me some throwback memories to playing pig with my dad in our driveway in Pennsylvania. And it's pretty cool to think here we are, 30 years later, still playing pig with my dad and with my kids. It's a really cool memory. I'm really glad I got to experience that today. I had lunch yesterday with Todd Robinson, who is quickly becoming a very good friend of mine. And I mentioned to Todd about the daily videos, and I encouraged him to do a daily video just because of how much they've encouraged me in my own growth and me growing and just pushing the envelope, living on the edge of authenticity and vulnerability in my life. And at lunch, he didn't commit to doing it when we were at lunch. Later on in the day, he posted a video and said Derek, that I had challenged him to do it, and he's taking me up on it. And just in a few things in the video that he talked about, and how my journey of doing the daily videos of authenticity and growth and living in such a way that I will hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant," when I get to heaven, has really challenged him, and it reminded me of how often people are watching. And it's not that it's a burden that people are watching, but people are always watching. I'm always being an example of something. Am I being an example of faithfulness? Am I being am I being an example? Sorry, the dogs got me distracted. Of faithfulness? Am I being an example of laziness? Am I being an example of joy? What am I being an example of? But I'm always being an example of something. And I'm very grateful that Todd was able to see the example of authenticity and vulnerability in such a way that he decided to take on the challenge for himself. And now we are a group of 6 of us doing daily videos every day, just documenting what's on our minds and on our hearts as we seek to live a life that matters with this one life that we're given. And the second part of what I have been really touched with today comes from the recital that I went to this morning for Katie in her studio. She had 9 students, 3 of which were my kids who were playing, and then, I don't know, maybe 30 students, maybe 40 students altogether. And what really blew me away, and I love going to recitals. I've been to 2 recitals a year since Katie and I were married, so it's 14 years, so 28 recitals. And I love going to the recitals because I love watching kids learn incredible life lessons, such as what to do when you make a mistake. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to sit on the bench and no matter how much you've practiced, no matter how well you've memorized your piece, no matter how much planning has gone into whatever you're doing, to sit down and in the moment, it's time in the moment to play. And sometimes they forget. In fact, I was thinking, I don't think I've ever heard a perfect piece played at a recital. And that's actually what a wonderful thing that is for a child to be able to sit up there and mess up in a place where they can keep going. One of the girls is in 4th grade. She completely forgot half of a verse of a song she was singing. And she kept her composure. She figured out what the words were, and she kept going. And what an incredible life lesson is there that so many of us adults have forgotten, or maybe we never got the experience to step into, that when we make a mistake, no matter how much planning has gone into it, when we make a mistake, when something doesn't go right, it's okay. We can keep going. And I love watching kids get up there and choose to keep going when things don't go their way. Choose to keep going when there's a lot of eyes on them. And they can either quit or they keep going. And the incredible teachers that have invested in them, and they keep going. In life, I'm reminded of a friend of mine, Tara, who says, you can do hard things. We can do hard things. And recitals are a perfect place for kids to learn that they can do hard things. I think it's also a wonderful opportunity to experience the reward of diligence. You listen to some of the kids play, and you can tell, generally speaking, who has been diligent over a long period of time working on their pieces. It's a recital's a perfect opportunity to reap the reward of consistency in practice, not just intensity in practice. And so often in life, I'm reminded of how important consistency is. Because in a sense, we as adults are in a recital every day. I get on live every single day. I get to speak in front of a group of guys every single week. I do a video every single day. I get up to speak in Sunday school, in small groups, in church every other week. And what an opportunity is to realize that consistency over time pays off, not just the intensity. But the biggest lesson for me in the recital this morning was around this idea that the words I've put to it are, we are an infinite well of possibility, but we don't always access it. Or I judge people too early to give them the chance to demonstrate their infinite well of possibility. There were 3 young ladies who sang in a recital today that just blew me away. Malia, Addison, and who was the third one? Malia, Addison, and Izzy. A couple of them I didn't even know they sang. I go to church with these girls. I see them in the hallway. I see them hanging out with their friends. I see them sitting in the pew at church. I see them goofing off. And I just assume that they're, middle school or high school girls that, I make certain judgments about them just based on what I see them in the hallway at church. And they get up and sing behind a microphone. And they sing with such passion. And they sing with such talent. And here I'm sitting in my seat, almost being convicted that I had judged them as they don't have any musical talent. Now, what I base that on, I don't know. I make snap decisions sometimes that are wrong. In fact, most of the snap decisions I make are wrong, and wrong in the sense that I've made it a habit in life to not give people the benefit of doubt when it comes to the possibility of what they could do. And I was struck with the idea that we all are an infinite well. We are infinite wells of possibility. And who am I being to the people around me to encourage them to step into that infinite well of possibility? I'll pick on Addison for a moment. She's a tomboy. She's a rough and tumble. Loves to just play outside type of girl. In 4th or 5th grade, she got up and sang beautifully, with character, with expression, with gestures, and she owned her voice. She owned her performance. She owned the experience. What an incredible gift for me to sit there and listen. And Malia and Izzy as well. And I just sat back and I thought, I'm thankful for their parents. I'm thankful for the teachers who invested in not just these 3 girls, but they really brought this to the surface for me, who saw in them an infinite well of possibility and have invested in them. And I want to be in such a way that when I talk about living in such a way that I hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant, when I get to heaven, is partly helping and elevating others to live in that way. And what I realize that means for me in a new way is seeing everybody as a well of infinite possibility and encouraging people to step into the confidence, the courage, the vulnerability to use their gifts. And they're not going to do that. I can't do that if I'm not stepping into my infinite well of possibility, which is really just living on the edge of being authentic, pushing I say pushing the boundaries, just being aware of who I am and what gifts I have, and being willing to step right up to the line of embracing my gifts to the best that I know how today, and then tomorrow, and the day, and the day, and the day after that, and being in such a way that I encourage other people to do the same. And part of these videos is me being authentic, me encouraging those of you who are listening I see Micah and Matt and Brecca on here and a couple others watching right now, encouraging you to live in such a way that you see yourself in an infinite well of possibility, that you see in yourself a possibility of using your gifts for significance, to have impact on others, to elevate others, to live faithfully in their lives. We are all infinite wells of possibility, and I want to be a person, I want to be in such a way that I encourage others to access their well of possibility and live life to the fullest, live a life that matters every single day. Those three ladies who sang this morning, they came alive in a way I've never seen them come alive before. Some of the pianists who clearly had practiced and prepared and were ready and in the zone and played with passion and diligence, they came alive. I want to live a life of coming alive. I want to encourage the people around me. I want to lead at the front of people around me that say we are living in a way that comes alive because we are accessing who we are, and we're taking the gifts that we have and we're embracing them. We're not hiding from them. We're owning them with radical ownership. And we're grabbing the mic, as it were, and we're singing our heart out. We're writing our heart out. Or we're expressing, or we're serving, or we're giving, whatever that looks like. Come alive. I think there's a song from The Greatest Showman called Come Alive. I'm going to have to find that song because I'm reminded of it now. But come alive. Let's come alive. Let's not live a dead life. Let's live an alive life, recognizing that we have an infinite well of possibility inside of us if we're just willing to access it. Let's live. Let's be alive.